Hi, it's me here for day 30. I honestly, I know I come in all like dramatic and stuff, but 30 days, it seems so short in the scheme of things. So I really just want to come on and say hi, hashtag replay. If you're watching on the replay, we do have one more PDF that my team's going to send out to see about your interaction, see about your shares. We've got close to 500 people in this community, and we have still got 4 mediumship readings or 4 readings to give away. We've got some of my magnificent mediums that will be literally doing readings, and of course you guys get to go into the draw to win a reading. So I'm really excited to go through all of these application forms and all of these things. So if you're jumping on, come and say hello. I'm really hoping, you guys, that the comments, oh, my phone is slipping, that the comments are going to be showing up today. How are you? How are you feeling? We've been through so many places and spaces, and we've ascended a lot together in these last 30 days. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like a real different person. You know, during this challenge, I committed to doing a 42k run. I've been going to the gym. I've been doing like HIIT workouts. I've been I've just been putting myself out there a lot more and taking, well, I'm slipping again and I can't even dress myself. So I've been really taking bigger risks, and my faith has really turned up. Being transparent and authentic and real and showing up however I'm feeling. Yesterday I was really tired when I showed up, and I was really honest about that. I was like, wow, guys, I've just been sleeping for like hours and snoozing, and my day didn't go to plan. So I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you where you're at. How are you coming in today? Are you coming in feeling fresh, feeling tired, feeling triggered, feeling exhausted, feeling lit, feeling pumped? How are you feeling? Come on, say hello. Really wanting these comments to come up, because I wanted to do some Q&A today. I wanted to see if anyone had any questions, anyone wanted to share their face and come on in. So if not, we're just going to have to do a collective card pull. And today I want to do a little bit of showcasing of the coaching, a little bit of showcasing of the readings. In my Amplify Mastermind today, we had a 2 hour and 20 minute session, pretty much, to over 2 hours. And we did a whole lot of light language. We did a whole lot of tapping into the energy of choosing ourselves and not being a people pleaser, and making sure that we're listening to our gut, listening to our intuition, even when it's scary, even when we're feeling like everything's crumbling down. We can hold a faith. And, you know, multi-millionaires and successful people have, I said this yesterday, they have a higher faith. And that's why you see quite a lot of entrepreneurs going to church and giving to communities and like doing a lot of fundraising things and infusing money into different charities and whatnot, especially their churches, because they want to give more to the world, and the way that they receive that is by having a high functioning faith. If we don't have a high functioning faith, then what can happen is we are just like, let's live the day to the day to the day to the day. I'm not really worthy of receiving too much, and I don't really have anything to give. But if we expand our capacity to give more, to expand more, and to learn. We've talked about growth mindset. We've talked about fixed mindset. We've talked about having courage, which is fear and motion. We've talked about committing to things. So we have commitment. Then we have this energy of courage. And then we come into the capacity to expand it. And then we come into literally the confidence. And skills, we can't be confident at skills until we, I'm really trusting you guys can hear me right now because I can't see any comments. But we have to come into the energy of honing in on our skills, and it's uncomfortable, and this is where the fraudulism and the fear comes in. I remember going to hairdressing school, and I was like, am I ever going to be able to do this? Like, cutting hair is an art, you know. Give me a shout out to all the hairdressers out there, right? If you've been a hairdresser, pop down below, or a beauty therapist. There is an art, especially I can't speak as a beauty therapist, but as a hairdresser, we have to learn an art. As an artist, as a writer, as a channel, you know, I was talking about channeling yesterday, being a clear channel, being a sweet portal, being a sweet channel. What does it take? It takes rest, it takes cleaning, it takes recovery. To be an athlete of any type, we need deep recovery. We talked about that yesterday. And when we're young, we just keep going. We just keep stumbling until we walk. We just keep, what I love about MM is people keep showing up. And what we do is we practice, we do the readings, we show up, we're in community, we get the feedback, we're coachable. We allow ourselves to receive the yeses and the nos. And, you know, I remember the first haircut I gave Luke, he said, shave it off, I don't like it. He was about 20, but he was like, shave it off, I don't like it. And I remember my first bleach and tone. I remember my first haircuts, and my teacher, like my boss, saying, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And I was like, well, what was right? She's like, oh, everything apart from those things. I was like, okay. Like, so we're not here to be perfect. We're here to grow constantly. And I also have talked a lot about arrogance, you know, the arrogance of, oh, I already know those things. I've got someone who's signing up to MM, and she's like, I'm a medium of 30 years. I work in a freaking crystal shop, you know, and I want to do MM. And I'm like, well, you can, because we have mediums that have been doing this for 30 years. And we also have people that are like, I had another clarity call today with someone who signed up or signing up, and she said, I'm so new at this. And I'm like, well, you can join, because we don't really have levels. We only just have, you know, what we're confident within. And then there's these skill sets that we get to learn. So, okay, where am I going with this? I'm just kind of talking about the whole energy of what we've been creating. And I'd love to know the things that you're celebrating. Okay, we want to bring celebration into our every single day life. What are you celebrating from the last 30 days in your life? I know I've had literally the lady that I jumped on a clarity call with. Oh my God, she said, so Victoria, I was lying in bed and all of a sudden the light language just started coming out. And I'm like, oh my God, she's been activated with the light language. It's within us. It's all within us. But then we find a mentor or a friend, a channel, a soul connection, and we activate each other. So I'm like, that's pretty cool that you came into a free challenge and you were activated with light language. Like, oh, it's starting to rain. Celebrating that so hard, right? So the evolutions that we go through, quite often we don't know we're going through them while we're in them. Some of my most doubtful times, like we talk about vibration and frequency quite a lot, and some of my most doubtful times, is it working? Are people going to sign up? Is anyone going to show up to my free stuff? Is anyone going to watch my YouTube videos? You know, is anyone going to believe me with what I'm doing? Is anyone going to actually believe me? Are they going to think I'm crazy and want to lock me up? We all go through these things, and in those stretching and those growing pains, in those times when it feels like not a lot is moving, not a lot of motion is happening, we're just compounding and compounding and compounding and compounding. And this is why, you know, probably a month after this program, after this challenge, it is basically like a program. What will actually happen is you'll look back and go, holy shit, that was amazing. I went through so much. I showed up every single day. Or, you know, I did a few trainings. I did one particular training on entities, or on, I don't know, choice, or on whatever it is, like confidence, or my favorite thing is courage. I did this one training and my life has never been the same again. I was so triggered on this one thing. I had to look at my fears and I had to look at them in the face and eat them for breakfast. Like my coach says, eat fear for breakfast. And in those times when I didn't think I was doing anything, I didn't realize that I was already growing. It just hadn't come into fruition yet. And it's literally the iceberg. You only see a little bit of what's happening, but you're doing all the deep dives underneath. And today in my Amplify Mastermind, I was talking about, we did a meditation and activation about having liquid gold in our hearts and filling up our whole body. From this heart, it's like a faucet, like a tap, and filling up from our toes, our entire body filling up with this golden liquid, and then overflowing from our crown, and then coming on the outside of our bodies, this warm liquid honey gold type of thing, and then pouring into the ground, into the cracks, over the earth, and like just spreading around and through the earth. And this is our overflow, and our overflow happens from the inside out. It's not from the outside in, like we've been told it is. What dramas are we buying into right now? I see there's a lot of stuff going on about the Olympics, about the opening ceremony. I've seen something on Facebook, but I've got really good standards and boundaries about what I'm watching. What are we buying into? What is the drama that we're feeding? Have we ever considered that maybe that drama that we're feeding into has been actually predicted? It's been created? What are we complaining about? What are we focusing on? Is it positive? Is it negative? Do we buy into a drama cycle? Like, what are we doing? It's like really simple questions. And I'm always checking myself, because consciousness isn't just like, I'm always right, I'm always aware, my belief system is correct. It's actually being in awareness and not judgment, and allowing people to live their lives and have their own experiences, and doing this from a space of compassion. Like, I say to my kids all the time, I'll love you no matter what you choose, no matter what you do. I'll never, ever, ever cut you off. You'll always be my kid. I won't enable behavior, right? So if there was like drugs or bad things going on, I'd be like, I'm Dr. Phil all the way. I'm like, off you go. I'm not going to allow that stuff under my roof, but I will, no matter what you do. And my daughter says, no matter what I do, you'll love me, Mum. I'm like, absolutely. Because she's such a good girl. I'm like, there's going to be a time where you may feel certain ways about me because you're going to have hormones. And she's like, no way, Mum, I'm always going to be a good girl. I'm like, yeah, cool, but you need to know I love you no matter what. And she's going to have her journeys. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to go, she's on her journey and I'm here for you if you require it, right? So when we come from this outlook of, I fill myself up full of gold, full of liquid, and I overflow, I heal me first. When I was literally, you probably could have said chronic fatigue, could barely stand up most days, and I only had just enough energy to work, just enough energy to feed my kids. The rest of the time I was dizzy and a lot of different things. I healed myself because I didn't realize what the seed was, and the seed that I had planted was pure burnout. And I was like, I have to make a decision. Is this my reality? And I can own it. I'm this, right? And there's depression, all sorts in there. Or do I change this way and say, how do I want to be? Where I want to focus? And I visualize myself standing on a stage and literally, like, I aced hairdressing, by the way. So I've been hairdressing for like nearly 20 years. But so I got through that. So I was like, I can get through this. I don't know. I don't know if I can cut hair. I don't know of anything, but I know that I can learn things, I can grow, and I can experience, because we've all got a blueprint in human design. Mine is the 3-5 projector. So I was like, I want to be a stage platform medium. I want to be a stage platform medium. It was the same energy of when I went to go in and do haircuts. I went to tech and I didn't know how I was going to do it. And I ended up being the top in the class because I learnt what to do, and I learnt why shampoo and conditioner was so important. and not to buy shit stuff. I learned why heat protector is an absolute. Do not strand your hair without heat protector. And I believe it. And I sold like I sold. I said, you just spent $300 on your hair. You're going to need a purple shampoo to keep the color up. You're going to need the spray, because you should never strand your hair without spray. Your hair will break off. It completely strips it. And people go, I can't afford it. I'm like, you can't afford not to, right? So when it came to, I got really good at my craft. And it was one of the top hairdressers in all the salons I went to, because I believed it. I loved it. I was really, really passionate. And when I had to pivot and change after having kids, and I was going through a spiritual awakening, I was like, I'm a platform medium. Shit, I'm a medium. I'm a medium, and I want you guys to say that if you're here right now, I want you to own this, right? Because it's actually an energy. It is a craft, but it's not a trade. Mediumship's not a trade, it's just who you be. So I want you to put, I'm a medium. I'm a magnificent medium. I want you to put that down in the chat box. Because I was like, I'm a medium. I'm a platform medium. I stand there and I talk to spirit of those that I know, like their loved ones that have passed, and I give them messages, and I use cards to give them guidance for the future. Why do I think I can do this? Why do I think I could be a hairdresser? Because it's something within me that I know. It's something within me that's an extension of me. I was a creative. I loved playing with hair. I've been cutting my siblings' hair, although very shit, like it was a shitty job. I've been doing it since they were 5, because I knew I could, not 5, since they were 5, since I was about 11, because I knew I could do a better job than my mum, because she gave me a shit fringe once. She gave me, sorry, I don't know why I'm saying that word so much. She gave me a crooked fringe, and she promised me it would grow out within the 2 weeks of school holidays, and it didn't. So when I look at photos of me at school, I'm like, oh, you poor girl. I had the worst haircuts. I was like, I'm going to make sure no child ever goes through this again. So when I was a mum and I had this burnout and I had these breakdowns, and I was like, oh my God, and these spiritual awakenings happened at the same time, I was like, I got to help mums. So mums don't ever have to go through what I went through again, so they never have to feel lonely again. So I had this deep why behind it. And I visualized being this medium before I even knew I was a medium. But I followed the thread. I followed the soul calling, and I started learning the skills. Spirit started showing me the skills. I started watching people. What are they doing? How are they tuning in? Realizing it's all energetic. I started playing and practicing with cards and proving myself right. I started getting evidence and going, oh my God, I think I am a platform medium. I knew it before I became it, but I had to hone into the skills. I had to learn a new skill set. I had to remember who I was. I had identified with a hairdresser, and I was like, I am. Who are you? I am a hairdresser. Who am I without that job? Oh God, I don't know if I have much value without that job, because I was the hairdresser, right? Or we might be the mum, or we might be the wife, or we might be the medium. Who are you when we take away that role? And that role, and that role, and that role, you end up with you. You. What happens when we take away the hair, when we take away the hat, when we take away the jewels? What happens? We end up with us. What happens if we take away the people? We end up with us. What happens if we take away the body? We end up with us. But we forget this and we identify, and I put a little thing in the other day, said, tell us, who are you? And someone in here was like, it's a really big question. And I was like, yeah, it is. And I was really interested to see. I did that on purpose to see how people were going to answer it. Who am I? And we're so used to saying, well, I am Victoria. And now I transfer that, I shift that around and I say, my name is Victoria. So every time I go, I'm Victoria, I'm like, yeah, it's very limiting, isn't it? The English language is very limiting. When we become more consciously aware, we realize that the language is very limiting, but oh my freaking heck, your energy is so powerful. So my friend, I messaged her about something and she was like, yeah, that's all amazing, da 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 da. And I was like, nah, she doesn't mean that. And so then when she voice messaged me after I told her about something not being aligned with me, she goes, oh my God, I totally knew that. I was feeling the same way. Da, 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 da. And I was like, her words said to me, oh, yeah, I'm so pumped. It's so exciting. And I'm like, it's not what your energy's saying. And then when I verbally said, well, this is how I'm feeling, she goes, oh, I totally feel the same. Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought this up. How much of the time we're like, yeah, whoa, yeah, I'm so excited. But really we're like, I'm really not really that into it. I thought I'd be a hairdresser for my whole freaking life because I identified my worthiness to my identity, and my identity was a hairdresser. I became a mum and my whole identity got shaken up. And I was like, who am I? What am I doing? I never had a break from my job. I had 1 month off completely from before my CJ was born, 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks afterwards. Like I was always working and booking in people and trying to hustle, make ends meet. Make ends meet. Broke is a fucking joke. Money don't grow on trees. From a poor family. I was that girl until I changed the narrative. I changed the identity and was like, I'm kind of interested in the spirituality stuff, and now I'm freaking out because this is going to be a whole identity shift because my belief system is going to be questioned. And people in religions and cults, they don't usually question because they know one question is going to lead to another question, to another question, to another question, to another question, and potentially a whole identity shift. And a lot of people don't want to change. Better the devil you know. So I'm bringing all this up because it's my job to help upgrade you to whatever level you are desiring to uplevel. So I never, ever debate belief systems or someone's religion or, their body, what they should be doing or not be doing with their body, because I believe that we all have different beliefs and none of those beliefs are wrong. Unless it's hurting another person or controlling another person. And I'm definitely not into that. I don't believe in manipulation. I don't believe flirting to get whatever you want, right? Unless it's with your husband and he loves it. I believe in integrity and authenticity, and I believe there's different layers of that, and we get to go through those layers, experience those layers. And I don't think any past version of us is a bad version. It's just a version that is not so polished. It's a version that is not so wise because we had to go through the mud. We had to grow into the lotus, and we're always growing and blossoming and blooming into that lotus. So as I stood here and I realized I wanted to do mediumship and I wanted to be a stage medium, I literally started investigating what the hell even is a medium, apart from what I'd see on TV on Sensing Murder, and then finding dead bodies, which they never found the dead bodies, which is a whole other story. But I truly believed it. And although I've been quite gullible my whole life because I can't believe in the concept of lying, I never believed in lying. I'm like, you mean people actually lie? People are always indirectly lying, like my friend was lying to me. I'm so excited, let's go. I can't wait for this thing. I'm like, you sure? And she's like, oh, actually, thank God you said that because I've been feeling this. Been feeling neutral about it the whole time, which is a no for a sacral being. A neutral is a no. It should be hell yes or hell no if you're a sacral being. So you get to create your health. You get to create your wisdom. You get to create the impact that you create on the world. And that's what I'm doing here with nearly 500 people. And we only let the people in that are like, I want to be in, right? Because I think my team said we've invited well over 1,000 people. Like you guys have helped me invite well over 1,000 people. And we've got close to 500 here. And I think that's pretty amazing. And if this mini challenge, huge challenge mini program, if it helps 3 people believe in themselves, and then that ripple effect, that helps regulate another 3 systems, nervous systems, or the people that are around you, because you are who you hang out with, and then that creates more, then that creates more, then that creates more, then that creates more. I truly believe the micro movements we make create macro results. I truly, truly do. And we talked about humble hunger the other day, like being humble enough to say, hey, I got an ego. Hey, I'm not always right. Hey, I'm human. And what I love about my coach, who's a $10 million, one of my coaches, I've got quite a few people I work with, but the one who's made $10 million, she is like, hey, I'm human. She'll show up a little bit late on a call. Her calls won't be perfect. There'll be things that happen. Sometimes the links don't work. Like, hey, I may be making $10 million, but I'm human. Give me a fucking break. But we quite often think that if we pay some money, or if we show up, or if we're coming to something, that someone owes us something, and we think that they need to be perfect. And this is where the judgment comes in, right? We judge ourselves, of course, but if we judge ourselves, of course we judge others. So the loving from the inside out is so important. I meant to trigger you, and it's been a real hard pill to swallow. And I said to God, why me? Why me be the trigger? I'm the fucking people pleaser. I don't want to upset anyone. I never have, and I never will. And I want to be the person that says yes all the time, but I can't. So I practice saying no. And it's hard when people are like, you trigger the fuck out of me. And I'm like, I know. My ego's like, ow. And my heart's like, you're so welcome. And sometimes people get so triggered, they disappear and they don't come back. And sometimes people get so triggered that they go and then they come back when they're ready again, And some of my greatest clients, the best clients that have been like, let me sign up again, let me sign up again, let me sign up again. They're like, oh my God, I love you so much. You trigger the fuck out of me, and I know that it's working. And all I can say is, you're welcome. And I leave my ego at the door, because I was taught not to trigger, not to take up space. Really, really interesting. So what if you took away all your belief systems? What if you took away all the things that you thought gave you the worthiness? Wine used to give me my worthiness. When I drink a couple of glasses of wine, I start feeling empowered. I start feeling confident. I start looking good. When I drink a couple of bottles of wine, you may have a chance to get me on the dance floor. I want to make my lips brighter and wear more sparkles, and I can be louder, and I don't have those insecurities of the social anxiety or whatever. I was brought up by mum and dad with not a lot of kids around until I was 3. So what I know is that energy. All the siblings didn't come until later. And then all of a sudden I'm like overwhelmed. There's all these children around. There's, preschool and freaking school. On my first day of school, I screamed, no! Like, what is this? Is pain. This is torture. No. And the teacher held me while I screamed bloody murder. Like, honestly, I remember it. It's like one of my first memories. That my other first memory is picking up a cigarette butt. I used to pretend to puff on them because my parents were smokers, and one was still lit, and I remember coughing, and I was crawling around the grounds. I don't know if I've ever told my parents that. I'm sure they'd be absolutely disgusted. Neither of them smoke anymore. But and the fags were just sitting there. Rollies. I don't know if you guys have them in America. I'm sure you do. Roll your owns. I was rolling cigarettes from like 12, and doing all of these different things because monkey see, monkey do. So we get to change that identity. We get to change it. We get to change our identity. We get to change our blueprint. We get to change the things that have been coming up for us, and we get to reprogram them. A lot of the time we're talking about deconditioning, but I really have been swapping out that word with reprogramming, because the deconditioning has become a total, especially with HD and stuff, like people are using it a lot. But deconditioning, it's like taking something from us, but if we're reprogramming, it's like we're gifting back to ourselves. So we do have to be brave and courageous, and we do, it's our prerogative to change our minds and shift from what we thought we wanted to do to something else, especially if you're a manifest generator. You're allowed to be interested in one topic with lots of threads within that. You're not meant to be one thing, okay? I decided to be a medium, and then I became one. And I went into it, and this is what I teach in MM, like I went into mediumship not as the platform medium who was standing there with a whole lot of people in the crowd, like maybe that would happen one day. I'm not into the show. I'm into the change and the shifts. I'm into seeing people grow their wings. I'm into helping people rise so they can bring their power, their potency out to the world. That's what I'm into. So I brought my mediumship into my coaching. So when I'm pulling cards, which I'll do a collective for you guys soon because I can't see any comments. When I do a collective, when I do a reading, there's always threads of coaching. So I studied life coaching. I studied psychology. I studied human code of behavior. I've done everything. I'm a Reiki master, all the things. I've done a lot of things, a lot of studying, a lot of reading, a lot of all the things, because I'm so interested in it. And I failed school miserably because if I'm not interested in something, I can't give it any attention. And I don't think that's ADHD. I don't think that I'm dumb. I think that I just can only focus on what I'm interested in. And I think it's actually a mechanism to stay focused. So we can bring our spiritual upgrading, we can bring our awarenesses, we can bring our light and our magic to the world in a way that only we know how to do, in a way that feels good for us. One day I realized when I was doing live card pulls and I've got like 100 people like watching, or hundreds of people, whatever, I realized I'm an online fucking platform medium. I'm a platform medium. I'm a platform medium. This is well after MM came out. I was like, I'm actually a platform medium. Wow. But I'm not that. It's something I do. See, the English language, so tricky. Today I was a hairdresser. I had the role of a hairdresser. I have the role of a coach. I have the role of a medium. I have a role of a spiritual mentor, teacher. These are all parts of me. But if you take away all the things, looping back around in this transmission right now, if you take away all the things, all the identities, I'm me. I just am. I just am. I am literally, the environment around me has shaped me because I'm a freaking human being. And what an honor it is. So after this, I'm actually turning off my phone for the rest of the day, and I'm going to be sorting out my office to spend time with it because it's a sacred space. We have to have a sacred space. This is the first thing I teach in MM is, where's your sacred space? Where's your space where you can do journaling? Where's your space that you can be in deep meditation? Where is your space that you can be serving or whatever it is? And Luke just said to me as well, he's like, you know what, I've just realized my office, because we don't have it, we moved house recently, and we don't have a garage. Like, imagine not having a garage. First world problem, seriously, but we don't have a garage. So he's like, oh my God, my office has got fishing stuff in it. It's got things that are not relevant to our business. There's things that aren't relevant to where we're going. So I'm cleaning it up. He's like, can I have a haircut? So I was like, okay. So I gave him a haircut. I gave CJ a haircut too. And okay, it's time to tidy up the ship. It's time to get clean and clear and organized and honor our spaces. And my identity is created by, I want that to be created for my future self, not my past self. If someone asks me for a haircut, other than my children or my husband, I say I'm not a hairdresser. Every single time. My brother came to stay and he's like, oh, maybe you should cut my boyfriend's hair. And I'm like, I'm not a hairdresser. And I was cutting my son's at the time. I was just giving him we call it a kinner, just shaving his hair off. I said, sorry, I'm not a hairdresser. But his sister is. He can go get a haircut there. I was like, I can't cut hair. I only cut my son's hair and my husband's hair and my daughter's hair because it's so much quicker than to drive them into town 10 minutes and back. I can do a haircut in 10 minutes, a really, really good one in 20. So the identity that we form and we create is usually our life by design, and a lot of it's to do with our environment, the people that we're spending time with. I spent some time with a friend on Saturday night and we had a beautiful dinner. Our boys are really good friends, and she is she's an entrepreneur. She's kind of like a disguised entrepreneur. Like most people wouldn't even know she's an entrepreneur. She just is so natural, down to earth. And I said to her, I love spending time with you because you're so high vibrational and the conversation is so lit and I just can't get enough of you. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm being really creepy. And she's like, no, it's good. I was, wanting to meet a friend like you as well, because we can have online relationships, but, having the real human contact is amazing. And the next best thing is, of course, we can connect from all around the world and stuff. But surrounding ourselves with people that are high vibrational and expansive and easy with no expectations. It's like, what are you calling in? What kind of skill set and people and environment are you calling in? When we shift our environment, we also shift our everything. Everything shifts when we shift our environment. Since we've moved to closer to the beach with a view of the beach that I can see right now, everything's changed in my environment. Everything. And to navigate it, like my friendships have changed, like everything. Clients, there's new people that have come in. There's some people that have dropped out. I'm just sitting back and observing. And then there's people that have stayed with me and they're like, this is fun to watch because we're watching you shift and change because we're always evolving. We are always evolving and shifting. And there's no point in beating ourselves up from the past because the past has come, the past is gone, but we can reprogram ourselves to be better human beings. And being a better human being doesn't mean having to be a people pleaser or overgive. I'm very honest with my friends. They're like, do you want to come to quiz night? No. Do you want to hang out? Sorry, I'm not feeling like being around people. They're like, okay. And I used to be called a nana. I used to get dissed and teased for being a certain way. And now I'm like, I only surround myself with people who honor and respect that I'm different to them and they're different from me. And we need every single type of person to bring, to make the world turn, literally. So what is your environment like? And is it in alignment? I went really deep into my spiritual mastermind today, my spiritual business mastermind. And the question was, is your environment and the situations and the people around you, are they congruent with your genius and your future self? So a book, The Big Leap, is one of my favorite books. And we talk about what is in your genius? What is in your desires? If you're religious and you're watching this and it's about spiritually upgrading, it may not quite be the right place for you unless you're wanting to shift your mindset, right? Or if you're into sports and you have no interest in spirituality at all, then why would you be here? So what spaces and places are we putting ourselves into? What conversations, are they in line with our vibration? So for me, pulling the plug on something that's not in aligned with my genius, or if I start reading a book and I'm like, this isn't really my jam, or watching a TV program, I'm like, this is a bit intense or dark for me. And is this in alignment with my genius, with my future vision of who I'm being and my identity that I'm creating? I want my future to create my identity, not my past. Makes a big difference. And this has got a lot to do with spiritually upgrading. Like a lot, because a spiritual upgrade is a whole ascension. We go through a rebirth. We have to question the things. Like I said, people don't leave cults and religions because if I go, hey, Mom, just want to talk to you about a couple of different things, she's going to have to question her whole life. Some of us aren't brave enough to do that. So I just kind of realized, leave her to be. She's got her faith and, like I'm not laughing at her. I'm like, she's got her faith and it's not a bad religion to be in. And gently and slowly she's shifting her perspective because we're like, well, what if gay people weren't actually, evil? And she just happens to have a gay son. Well, she loves her son and she loves her son's partner. At first she was like, I don't want to know about it, right? And now she's like, oh yeah, I hope they work out. I hope, you know what I mean? Like we have to experience to shape our identity, to shift our limited perspectives. If we've only been with one person and we don't know what it's been like being with other people, then we simply just can't judge what we don't know. And that's why we have colourful, fruitful lives and experience things, because we're here to experience, we're here to be human, we're here to grow, we're here to ascend, we're here to transcend beyond the mind. And most of all, we're here to let go of the old identities that we've taken on and start forming new ones from a different perspective, from a higher perspective. And it's scary because it feels like someone's dying. Who am I without the cigarettes? I thought I was going to die when I gave up smoking. Honestly. And then I had to keep telling myself, but you'll die if you keep smoking. Your future self is saying you'll die if you keep smoking. And you're an idiot because you're an asthmatic, and this makes absolutely no sense, and it's doing nothing for you. It's not saving your life. It's not downloading you with information. It's an addiction. It's not even a pleasure. It's just the addiction that you're feeding. Same with the alcohol for me personally. So who am I without the alcohol? Who am I without the cigarettes? Who am I without being the hairdresser? I think my daughter or someone's crying. So I better go downstairs and make sure she's okay. Now it's time to put on my mum hat. And that is not all. Okay, so we always finish off with, and that is not all of me. So I'd love for you to put your hands on your heart and say, and that is not all of me. I'd love for you to put in the chat box, and that is not all of me. I just am. I am perfect. I'm divine. I'm aligned. I am love. I'm aligned, and I'm high frequency and high vibrational even before my period, even if I'm in a wave, even if I'm in a winter. Just because I'm not going, yeah, well, let's party, doesn't mean I'm not aligned. Maybe I'm just in my cocoon through my rebirth. Just because I'm tired doesn't mean I'm not aligned. People always go, what's the matter? Just because I'm crying doesn't mean I'm not aligned. And that is not all. You complex creature. You're beautiful, you're perfect, you're powerful. And we've got one more freaking day, which is tomorrow. And then we have the after party, and the after party is going to be lit. So I think we pretty much have one day off. I wanted to do it close while we're in the energy of it. And we're having the after party. You must register for the after party. I'll make sure the link is in this group. I've been in the back end just creating it right now, so I haven't been like on the front end a lot. But you've got to be registered to come. It's going to be on a Zoom. If you register, yes, you'll be able to receive the replay. If you can't make it for somehow, that's cool. We'll be announcing the 4 winners of the readings, and also there will be some spot prizes in there as well. I do love to give. It feels really, really good for me to give from my heart, and I'm just so grateful that everyone has been, so many people have been showing up sporadically or religiously. If you've made it every single day, well fucking done. If you have been here like 20 days or 10 days or even 5 days, like I've had people that found me 8 days ago and jumping on calls with me going, hey, can I come into the next thing? So whatever you've done, I want you to celebrate that today. Okay, we're going to leave that there. Whatever you've done, I want to celebrate today. Some of you have jumped into different deals with me and I've been creating all of these kind of like secret squirrels, all these like pop-up surprises, and there's more to come, obviously, as we finish up this incredible experience, as you're integrating it all. We've got this after party. It's going to be lit, and then there's going to be things that come after that as well. So what is your favorite frame? Pop it in the chat box, so I'll read it later after I do my my office clean. Pop it in the chat box. What is your favorite frame from today? What is the thing that's popped for you? This has been a kind of intense transmission. Very much of the residue of doing my masterclass, my mastermind today. And I will pull you a card. And the card is, oh yeah, and I love this card, Ego. The illusion of being trapped, placing too much importance on material items, getting caught up in the worry and fear. And this is something I've been talking to in my one-to-one spaces as well, about the ego. It's about the mind knot. It's about the overthinking. It's about the overanalyzing. And I spoke about this energy yesterday as well. It's so important to have deep rest. So like I say, I'm turning my phone off literally off after this call, so I can be with my family and clean my office and work on my environment. It's really important. I like to have a clean bathroom. I like to have a clean bedroom. I like to have a clean office. I like to know where my stuff is. Cleanliness is holiness, you know, as they say. And the ego, it's really important to get rid of the guilt and the shame. It says he's burning guilt here. So get rid of the guilt and the shame and the identities that we've attached ourselves to that may not be real, but they may have been formed as real. And we get to reprogram that. We get to use, we did tapping in this last 30 days as well. We get to tap it out. We get to feel it out. Today in the Amplify Mastermind, we were like, let's change our state. Do you want to be motivated? Good. Run around the house. Do 10 star jumps. What do people do to get pumped up? They do push-ups, right? We can change our emotional state pretty quickly, but also we can change our future by visualizing it daily. So the ego comes in to keep you small. We've been told it's the opposite. Oh, that person's got a big ego, right? When they're showcasing confidence. But what if the ego is keeping you small? Okay, so what do you need to get rid of to reprogram that? Okay, my loves, I'm celebrating all of you who are jumping into Secret Squirrel and already, our pre-early birds. And of course, we're going to be celebrating tomorrow for day 31 of the Spiritual Upgrade Challenge. I'm so excited. It's going to be lit. And then we have our after party, balloons and all. Totally considered the cake, but I'm doing a special thing right now for my running fitness, so I don't think we're going to have cake this time. I think I said we're going to have one in our next MM, we're going to have cake. And guys, I am going to love you and leave you. It's always an honor. I can't wait to read the messages later. It always such a highlight for me to go through and read them all. It makes me feel like I'm really in the room with you guys, and it's not too late to share. It's not too late to say, hey guys, go binge the 30 days that are sitting in there before they go. So I'm going to leave it open for a little bit longer, like I said, because I want to give people time and space to catch up on these. You know, we're all busy people, but yeah, it won't be here forever. So if you want to invite people to this challenge, if you're like, oh my God, you've got to do this, like it's, you know, I know my nail tech is like, I'm just telling everyone to come in because this is so good. She just kind of found me. Yeah, if you feel good for doing that, you can do that. But most of all, I want to hear from you about your experiences. It really lights my soul on fire when you tell me that you're choosing yourself and you're making big, hairy, audacious changes or even subtle changes. It's really powerful. Okay, lots of love.